The mother-in-law slapped her daughter-in-law in public just because she wore a red dress to greet her for the new year. She even declared that she must slap her 3 times. Everyone stood there in shock, unable to understand why. The next second, the mother-in-law slapped her again, scolding her for wearing a red dress during New Year visits. The father-in-law immediately spoke up, saying that wearing red was meant to bring good luck. How could that possibly justify hitting her? But the mother-in-law had already made up her mind. She said that after the 3rd slap, she would reveal a secret. The daughter-in-law quickly tried to protect herself, turning to her husband for help. Yet despite her son's attempts to stop her, the mother-in-law insisted on delivering the 3rd slap. Even as both the son and daughter-in-law begged, the mother-in-law claimed that she would explain everything after the 3rd slap. At that moment, the in-laws also tried to intervene. The father-in-law seized the chance to persuade her to stop, saying it was embarrassing to cause such a scene during the new year. Instead, he was harshly scolded by his wife. Seeing this, the daughter-in-law deliberately collapsed to the ground. The father-in-law angrily accused the mother-in-law of being unreasonable, saying the daughter-in-law had always been obedient and kind, treating him like her own father. But those words only made the mother-in-law angrier. She said that was exactly why she should hit her even more. That statement pushed her son to say that he would cut ties with her. To everyone's surprise, the mother-in-law immediately agreed. Just as the 3rd slap was about to land, the daughter-in-law suddenly announced that she was pregnant. Instead of reacting with concern, the father-in-law became unusually excited, even happier than his own son. They thought the pregnancy would be enough to help her escape the 3rd slap, but the mother-in-law insisted that the 3rd slap must still be delivered. In desperation, the father-in-law threatened her, saying he would divorce her if she dared to hit her again. The mother-in-law agreed, but only after finishing the 3rd slap. Those words threw the father-in-law into panic. Still believing she didn't know the truth, he pretended to question her, asking what exactly the daughter-in-law had done wrong. But all he got in return was, "I'll tell you after I finish." Suddenly, the daughter-in-law came up with another idea. If the mother-in-law hated red dresses so much, she could just change her clothes. Yet the mother-in-law refused to let her go, warning that anyone who dared to interfere would face her wrath. At that point, no one dared to resist anymore. They all urged the daughter-in-law to obediently accept the 3rd slap. As the slap was about to fall, the daughter-in-law hurriedly claimed her stomach hurt and said she needed to go to the hospital. Hearing this, the father-in-law panicked because once they went to the hospital, the secret would surely be exposed. He immediately exposed her act, telling her to face reality and let the mother-in-law slap her one last time. But the mother-in-law suddenly changed her mind. Since the father-in-law was so afraid of her going to the hospital, she insisted on sending the daughter-in-law there herself. Seeing this, the father-in-law completely lost his composure. Meanwhile, the daughter-in-law, desperate to avoid the 3rd slap, even prepared to call emergency services. The father-in-law quickly warned her not to forget how the baby came to be. Only then did the daughter-in-law realize the situation and immediately give up the idea of going to the hospital. The mother-in-law coldly stated that once she finished the 3rd slap, she would finally reveal the truth.